You work harder than everyone around you, even after sacrificing your evenings and weekends, but you're still not getting the results you want. What if you could achieve more by doing less, using a system that feels almost unfairly simple? In this video, I'll share the 5-step framework that top performers from Elon Musk to Olympic athletes use daily that will completely transform how you approach every single day. I discovered this framework after interviewing over 50 high achievers and noticing they all followed the same pattern, even though they'd never met each other. The problem is, most people focus on hustle and motivation, which run out by Tuesday afternoon, instead of building a system that works whether you feel like it or not. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to structure your day like the top 1%. And you'll wonder why no one taught you this in school. Let's dive in. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Most people start their day in reactive mode, checking phones before their feet hit the floor. The clarity filter is a 10-minute morning ritual where you answer 3 specific questions before touching any technology. Think of it as setting your GPS before driving. You're defining your destination for the next 16 hours so you don't waste energy wandering aimlessly through tasks that don't matter. Research from Harvard Business School found that people who spend just 15 minutes planning their day are 30% more productive than those who dive straight into work. This works because your brain operates in 2 modes, reactive and intentional. The first hour of your day determines which mode dominates. When you start reactively, cortisol spikes, and you spend the entire day fighting fires instead of building empires. The clarity filter activates your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for strategic thinking, before your amygdala hijacks your attention with urgent but not important tasks. First, keep a journal and pen on your nightstand, not on your phone. Second, before checking any device, write down these 3 questions. What's the one thing that, if accomplished today, would make everything else easier? What am I grateful for right now? And what would make today great? Third, spend no more than 10 minutes answering these. The key is speed and intuition, not perfect answers. Fourth, avoid the common mistake of writing vague goals like be productive. Instead, write specific outcomes, complete first draft of presentation, or have difficult conversation with team member. For instance, instead of saying work on project, try write 500 words of introduction section by 11 a.m. See the difference? One gives your brain a clear target, the other leaves it guessing. But that's not all. Once you have clarity, you need to protect it from the chaos that's about to hit you. This next one is crucial, because without it, your beautiful morning clarity gets destroyed by 9:15 a.m. The power block is a 90-minute period of deeply focused work on your single most important task, scheduled before any meetings or emails. Cal Newport calls this deep work, and it's the secret weapon of every high performer I've studied. During this block, you're completely unreachable. No phone, no Slack, no email, no exceptions. MIT neuroscientist Dr. Earl Miller discovered that our brains can only produce about 2 to 4 hours of peak creative output per day. That's it. After that, you're running on fumes. Successful people know this, so they treat those hours like gold. Your willpower and decision-making ability are highest in the morning, declining by roughly 1% every hour you're awake. By protecting your first 90 minutes for high-value work, you're essentially doing your most important thinking when your brain is a Ferrari, not when it's a broken-down bicycle at 4 p.m. This explains why Steve Jobs wore the same outfit daily and why Obama only wore gray or blue suits. They were preserving decision-making energy for what actually mattered. First, identify your 90-minute window. For most people, this is 7:39 a.m. or 9:30 a.m., but night owls might choose 10 p.m., 11:30 p.m. That's fine. Work with your biology, not against it. Second, communicate boundaries. Put focus block. Do not disturb on your calendar. Tell your team, I'm unreachable from 9:30 unless there's a literal emergency. Third, Prepare your environment the night before. Close all browser tabs. Put your phone in another room. Wear noise-canceling headphones even if you don't play music. Fourth, avoid the trap of "I'll just quickly check email first." That's like eating dessert before dinner. You'll ruin your appetite for the main course. If you must check messages, do it after your power block, never before. Now, you might be thinking, but what if something urgent comes up? Here's the truth. If you're not a heart surgeon or a firefighter, nothing is so urgent it can't wait 90 minutes. And if your workplace genuinely requires instant responses 24/7, you don't have a time management problem, you have a job problem. Now, let's talk about something even more powerful, the invisible force that determines whether you stick to this framework or abandon it by Wednesday. Most people don't know this, but productivity isn't about time management, it's about energy management. The energy audit is a daily practice where you track not just what you do, but how much energy each activity drains or restores. You're essentially treating yourself like a smartphone battery, identifying which apps drain you to 2% and which ones recharge you to 80%. Successful people obsess over this because they understand that 2 hours of energized work beats 8 hours of depleted grinding. A Stanford study tracking 10,000 workers found that productivity per hour declines sharply after 50 hours per week and drops off a cliff after 55 hours. Working more doesn't equal achieving more. Your body operates on ultradian rhythms, meaning energy naturally peaks and dips every 90 to 120 minutes. When you ignore these rhythms and push through exhaustion, you're not being disciplined, you're being inefficient. Elite athletes figured this out decades ago. They train in focused bursts with strategic recovery. Knowledge workers are finally catching up. The Japanese concept of ikigai isn't just about finding purpose. It's about aligning your daily activities with what naturally energizes you. First, for 1 week, rate your energy every hour on a scale of 1 to 10. Set a phone reminder if needed. Second, next to each rating, note what you were doing in the previous hour: meeting with team, writing report, scrolling social media, lunch with friend. Third, after 7 days, analyze the patterns. Which activities consistently drain you below 5? Which boost you above 7? Fourth, redesign your schedule based on data, not assumptions. If client calls drain you to a 3, batch them all on Tuesday afternoons when stakes are lower, not Monday mornings when you need peak performance. If creative work energizes you to an 8, do more of it, even if it means delegating other tasks. Here's a practical example. I discovered that admin work, emails, invoicing, scheduling, tanked my energy to a 2 to 3, while content creation boosted me to a 9. So I hired a virtual assistant for $15 an hour to handle admin, freeing up 10 hours weekly for high-value work. That decision 10 times my output. Avoid the common mistake of thinking you need to power through energy dips with caffeine and willpower. That's like trying to drive cross-country on an empty tank. Strategic rest isn't laziness, it's performance optimization. But wait, there's more to this. Because even with perfect energy management, you'll fail without this next element. You've already watched this far, so let me share the real secret behind why some people sustain success, while others burn bright and flame out. The accountability architecture is a structured system where you report your progress to another human being at least twice per week. Not a vague accountability partner who you text occasionally, but a formal system with scheduled check-ins, clear metrics, and real consequences for non-compliance. Think of it as installing guardrails on a mountain road. You can still drive wherever you want, but you're way less likely to fall off a cliff. A study from the American Society of Training and Development found that you have a 65% chance of completing a goal if you commit to someone else. But if you have a specific accountability appointment with that person, your success rate jumps to 95%. That's a 30 percentage point difference just from adding structure. This works because your brain is wired for social cohesion. We're tribal creatures. The fear of disappointing someone you respect is more powerful than personal motivation, which fluctuates daily. Navy SEAL. Don't push through Hell Week alone. They do it knowing their teammates are counting on them. Thousands of entrepreneurs have used this exact method to scale businesses from 0 to 7 figures. Not because they're more talented, but because they built better systems. First, find one accountability partner who's as serious about their goals as you are about yours. This isn't your drinking buddy who wants to get in shape someday. This is someone actively pursuing excellence in any area of life. Second, schedule 2 15-minute video calls per week. Same days, same times, non-negotiable. I recommend Monday mornings to set weekly intentions and Friday afternoons to review progress. Third, exchange specific, measurable commitments. Not, I'll work on my business, but I'll send 20 cold emails and record 3 podcast episodes. Fourth, implement a consequence. This could be donating $50 to a charity you hate, doing 100 burpees, or posting an embarrassing photo on social media. The consequence must be painful enough to motivate, but not so severe it paralyzes you. For instance, instead of saying I'll be more consistent, try this. If I miss my power block 3 times this week, I'll donate $100 to a political party I oppose and send you the receipt. Suddenly, your commitment gets real teeth. Avoid the mistake of choosing a partner who's too nice. You don't need a cheerleader, you need a mirror who reflects reality back without judgment but with honesty. This brings me to the final piece, the one that ties everything together and ensures long-term success instead of short-term sprints. This final step is what separates people who succeed once from people who succeed consistently, and it takes less than 30 minutes. The weekly reset is a Sunday evening ritual where you conduct a structured review of the past week and design the upcoming one. You're not just planning tea. Asks, you're extracting lessons, celebrating wins, and course-correcting failures before they become patterns. James Clear calls this reflection and refinement, and it's how habits evolve from shaky experiments into bulletproof systems. Harvard Business School professor Teresa Amabiel studied 12,000 daily diary entries and discovered that small, frequent progress is the most powerful motivator for sustained high performance. But here's the catch. Progress is invisible unless you actively track it. Without reflection, your brain defaults to negativity bias, remembering only mistakes and forgetting victories. The weekly reset rewires this by forcing you to acknowledge what's working. Japanese culture has used this for centuries through Hansei, the practice of continuous improvement through reflection. Toyota built a global empire on this principle. You can use it to build the life you want. First, block 30 minutes every Sunday evening. Treat this appointment with yourself as sacred as a meeting with your CEO, because it is. You're the CEO of your life. Second, answer these 5 questions in writing. What are 3 wins from this week, no matter how small? What's one thing I struggled with? What lesson did that struggle teach me? What are my top 3 priorities for next week? What's one thing I'll do differently? Third, review your clarity filter entries from the entire week. Are you consistently writing similar goals? That's data. Maybe that goal needs to become a permanent project. Are your goals scattered and random? That's also data. You might lack a clear long-term vision. Fourth, celebrate your wins physically. Stand up, do a fist pump, smile. I know it sounds silly, but your brain needs somatic markers to encode success. Neurons that fire together wire together. Here's a practical example. I noticed during my weekly resets that I consistently accomplished my writing goals but failed at exercise commitments. The pattern was clear. I was scheduling workouts at 6 p.m. when my energy was at a 3. I moved them to 7 a.m., right after my power block when energy was at an 8. Problem solved. Without the weekly reset, I would have just thought, I'm bad at exercise, instead of recognizing it was a scheduling issue, not a discipline issue. Avoid the trap of only reviewing failures. Your brain is already wired to do that automatically. Force yourself to spend 70% of your reflection time on what worked, only 30% on what didn't. Now, you might be wondering, what if I don't see progress after a week? That's exactly why you do this weekly instead of monthly. Weekly reviews catch problems early when there's small fires, not 5-alarm disasters. A ship that's 1 degree off course looks fine on day 1, but ends up in the wrong country after a month. Weekly resets keep you on track. Let's quickly review what we covered today. Number 1, the clarity filter. Answer 3 questions each morning before touching technology. Number 2, the power block. Protect 90 minutes daily for deep, uninterrupted work. Number 3, the energy audit. Track what drains and restores you, then redesign accordingly. Number 4, the accountability architecture. Report progress to another human twice weekly with real consequences. Number 5, the weekly reset. Spend 30 minutes every Sunday reflecting and planning. Remember, successful people aren't more talented or more disciplined than you. They just have better systems. You have everything you need to transform your productivity in the next 7 days. The only difference between where you are now and where you want to be is implementing these 5 steps consistently. Don't wait until Monday or next month or when things calm down. They never will. Start with just the clarity filter tomorrow. Our morning. Set your alarm 10 minutes earlier, grab a journal, and answer those 3 questions. That's it. That's your only job tomorrow. I promise you, 30 days from now, you'll look back at today and wish you'd started even sooner. If you found this helpful, hit that like button so more people can discover this framework. Subscribe for more actionable self-improvement strategies that actually work in the real world, not just in theory. Drop a comment telling me which of these 5 steps you're implementing first, and let me know what other frameworks you want me to break down. And if you want to learn the morning routine that amplifies this entire framework, check out this video next, where I break down the exact 60-minute morning ritual used by billionaires. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.